Hey, checking in with The Little Stranger by Sarah Waters, the Gothic novel set in 1940s England. This is chapters 9 and 10, or tracks 61 to 81 of the audio version that I'm listening to. Um, so, really gotten kind of it's interesting how my perception of Dr. Faraday has shifted over time, because at first I was very much kind of focusing on the inhabitants of the hundreds, where the Ayres family lives. But in these chapters, I'm definitely starting to focus more on Dr. Faraday, and his role in this novel. Because you always got to wonder. It's like, oh, why are we getting the perspective from him? Why are we not getting it from the uh, the actual residents, from Roderick, Carolyn, or Mrs. Ayres, or even Betty, the maid? Um, so in this sections, we kind of get the aftermath of the party, and that seems to kind of get healed. And indeed, um, I don't know if healed is the right word, but Carolyn kind of seems to overlook, and Dr. Faraday does kind of apologize for his basically kind of for assaulting her. Um, Even if it's that brief moment of like non-consent, it's still assault. Um, uh, and indeed, their relationship goes further, to the point where, yes, they are a couple, though she's still kind of hesitant to reveal it to her mother. She wants to pick the right time, because her mother is definitely getting more and more kind of fragile and unstable, and that really explodes in the second of the two chapters here. Um, um, but and there's also there's the kind of the question of because she knows that he's got an offer in London, and you get the sense that she's like, I'm going to marry you and we're going to leave here, where he is like, leave here? Why would we ever leave here? Which I'll come back to in a second. But we also just have the thing of the tricks, the stuff, the haunting, or whatever it is continues, starts up again. We get like what maybe is a bird trapped in a chimney, though they can't find the bird. There's all this knocking. There's phone calls in the middle of the night that happen, which the operator says, no, there hasn't been any calls been put through to you. Um, there is this kind of the bells system seems to be, they're getting random bells rung at all times, which is messing with them. So all the stuff that's just putting them more and more on edge as they go along. Um, yeah, it's like, it's getting them more and more on edge. And what happens is, we get in these, they find S's behind the, bleeding through the yellow wallpaper, in the saloon where they had the disastrous party where the girl got bit. And then they find these S's other places too, and it's like little S's, like some child has been writing on the walls, and it won't come off. And it's looked like, well, maybe it was there before the wallpaper, and it's like the lacquers got into it, so it's impossible to get off. And they find it like behind heavy furniture in other rooms, so they know it's not the little girl Jillian. It's got to be, something else, whether it was, from maybe the dead little girl, maybe when she was alive, or now that she's dead. um, and we get all that. And then we get, um, they had this kind of weird intercom system that ran to the nursery upstairs, and they start getting this kind of whistling, breathing noise coming through the thing, and it spooks Betty the maid, and the live-in, the come in housemaid, cook, um, the day cook, who comes in, and unfortunately they don't find Carolyn. They find Miss Ayres, who know, like, Carolyn and the Faraday have been really being careful to try and keep away from stuff like this. And she says, well, I'm going to go up and check it. So she does go up and checks it. And she gets trapped in the room, and she starts hearing this kind of heavy kind of plursy breathing coming from the tubes, and she's immediately like, what did she die of? Diphtheria is what her daughter died of, and that's what she sounded like at the end, is this kind of wet, sobbing breathing of, like, I think her lungs basically filling up with liquid. And she kind of, she completely breaks down. She breaks the glass to catch their attention, because the maid and the cook have gone out to talk to Carolyn, and they're pointing up at the thing, and she smashes her glass, and she cuts her hands, cuts her wrists. Luckily doesn't hit an artery. Brings Faraday over. They calm her down. They bandage her up. And then Carolyn and Dr. Faraday have this conversation about how, she's like, we need to get out of here. We need to get the hell out of here. It came after Roderick. It came after me through Jip. It came after Roderick of his fear of protecting the family, and now it's come after her Mrs. Ayres through her, her grief and guilt and mourning over her dead daughter. We need to get out of here. And he's like, no, this is all. And he basically kind of does the whole kind of rational, you're being irrational, don't be silly, explain. Even when you would think, if you were actually being rational, you'd go, yeah, this is not a great environment for you to be in. You guys should leave. And I start thinking, is Dr. Faraday actually a part of this house? He's a part of the history of this house. And he's like a tool that the house is using to keep these poor people welded, trapped in this place that is eating them alive. That he is a part of the house, that he is a part of this malevolence in a way. And also just a part of the history of this house. He is a representative of the servants who all had to support these people when they were rich and arrogant and dominating over all the people around them. He's the final representative to keep them, hold them, force them to stay and rot in this horrible place. That's my thought. That's my theory at this point. All right, more videos later.